Good morning, YouTubers. T Square with T Square Talk. Hope everybody's having a great day. It is Wednesday, hump day, halfway through the week. Once we make it through today, I guess we're halfway through the week, or at least half the day, and then we're halfway through the week. Got a great video planned out for you guys today, though. I think it's a great video. It was based a little bit off of a comment that I had, but then also a little bit on some stuff that happened to me last week. So I thought it would be kind of a cool topic to talk about. Basically, today we're going to talk a little bit about trading your silver and gold for items that you need. And this idea that some people like to say you can't eat it, so it ain't going to do you any good. And maybe you can get away with trading it now, but you won't be able to trade it when times are tough. Yeah, maybe if someone's got some extra food on hand, or they have a restaurant, maybe they're willing to trade you some of that stuff today for an ounce of silver, a couple ounces of silver or something. But will they really want to when food is scarce? Will they really want to give up something of life, essentially, for something that is just some shiny metal or some shiny collectible, as some people put it? So I want to talk about that because I believe they will today and they will tomorrow and they will if things break down. Now, does that mean you'll get the same amount if you can't find food? Is someone going to want to give you the same amount of food that you would get today? Probably not. However, I believe you will be able to get food for it. I'm going to explain out some stuff today that will kind of make you think a little bit on maybe a different belief if you don't believe that that's possible, and how there's a lot of benefits to cultivating your own group of people that you can trade. This doesn't have to be public. It doesn't have to be something you advertise to the world. It can be something that you just have a few people that you deal with on a regular basis. I'm going to tell you guys some of my personal inside strategies that I use for doing this, and how it benefits me even. And it benefits me in a better quality lifestyle by trading with people, and how it benefits me later when they decide to get rid of it. So some of this, I think you're really going to enjoy today's video. If you do enjoy today's video, take a quick minute, hit that thumbs up button. Probably best you just hit it now. So many people watch these videos and they forget to hit that thumbs up button because they wait for the video to get going, and then they forget all about it because they're right on the edge of their seat trying to listen to everything, and then they forget to hit it. So also, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please take a quick minute, hit that subscribe button. Leave me a comment. Let me know your thoughts. I love hearing y'all's opinions because I do base a lot of videos off of comments and stuff. So with that being said, let's jump right in. Now, before we get talking today, let's take a quick look at the prices of gold and silver, because we seen a rough day yesterday as we seen silver price really come down a good amount. I mean, we're down to 37.16. It dropped almost $1. Some people already starting to panic. Some people realizing this is a temporary thing. A lot of stuff's going on in the economy right now. It doesn't really look like the peace talks are going to work out. So you should see gold and silver jumping. However, we're going to see how this plays out. Some people believe that once peace is announced in Europe, that gold and silver is just going to plunge, and you might want to get rid of it now before it's too late. Personally, I think that's a joke, and I think it's a distraction. I think it's designed to convince people not to want gold and silver. We have seen time and time again that gold and silver is a wealth preservation. And just because maybe they might come up with a peace talk and it might come to peace terms and everything come to an end over there, here's the thing. It doesn't fix all the problems that are out there in the world today. It just solves one of them. And ultimately, when you realize that, you understand that inflation is still rampant. The economy is really struggling right now. And I don't blame anybody particularly for this right now, what's going on. I think ultimately it comes down to the Fed. It's the Fed's fault. Why? Because they continue to print money. And what's crazy is, and I know someone out there is going to be like, well, the Fed don't do it without the government's approval. I mean, here's the thing. The Fed does a lot of things that we don't know, I'm convinced. That I think they even do stuff that the government doesn't even know, like loan big companies money at lower interest rates than maybe other people. I mean, the truth of the matter is, by them loaning money, they print it out of nowhere. They can loan it out to people, and then essentially they make interest off of it. And I think higher interest rates benefits them for the most part, because then they get to make more interest. But they've been making a lot of money. They've got a nice big renovation they're going to have to pay for pretty soon. And I really think that all this stuff that's going on is going to push gold and silver higher. So this little dollar drop is a temporary relief. I know some people will tell me, and it's true, that you just because the spot price goes down doesn't mean you can buy it a whole lot cheaper. Because usually when spot price comes down, the premiums go up. However, if the spot price comes down and it stays down for a little while, then it starts reflecting to cheaper precious metals, which gives you opportunity to pick up stuff. Now, small coin shops, a lot of times, they're quick to, or they're a little quicker, in my opinion, to lower their prices, because they understand the price goes up, the price comes down. Hey, when the price is going up, they're going to make their money. When the price is coming down, yeah, they might not make as much money, but that's okay, because there's going to be someone else that will come in and sell at some point. And so we'll see. And in fact, people tend to buy more silver, it seems like, and gold when the price is moving higher. When the price is coming down, people get skittish and I'm going to wait for it to go even lower. And who knows? We'll see. I think $37 right around is a great buying opportunity. It's not financial advice, just my opinion, though. Moving on, taking a quick look at the gold price. Gold price destroyed to also down almost $200 from its high at $3,318. I say it's high because we did hit a high not too long ago, just over 3,500. And there again, I think this is just temporary. This is a buying opportunity. Some people thinking that, everything's going to get better. A lot of that is propaganda, I believe. They tell you that to convince you it's going to get better. The price comes down, and who buys it? Central banks buys even more of it. They're positioning themselves. This is nowhere near over. That's my opinion on it. Taking a quick look at Bitcoin. Got to mention Bitcoin because Bitcoin has been doing a good job holding its own. However, right now it is down heavily. It's sitting at 113,600. It was down into the 112s, I believe, earlier. Let's take a look how low it actually went, if it even shows it here. Yeah. 112,852. So off of its high, a good amount as well. Its high was actually like 122,000, I think, is what we got up to. Yeah, 123,332. So a really big drop in my opinion. I mean, that's almost $10,000 drop right there. A good 8 or 9%. Now, how much lower can it go? Is it going to start popping? Not a guarantee, but we'll see what happens. I think there's a lot of people out there that are going to try to take advantage of this, thinking that this is the low for Bitcoin. I would not bet on it, but each person is going to have to make their own decision on that. Taking a quick look at the DXY, because when I seen that gold and silver really took a big hit and Bitcoin took a hit, I said, man, the DXY must be really skyrocketing. I had a couple comments recently that said they think the DXY is just going to really move a whole lot higher, that we'll be back over 100 in no time. And so when I had seen the prices, I said, man, I'll bet you the DXY's got to be going up a good amount because the dollar would be getting stronger. That would be causing a lot of these prices to essentially be going down. You get more for your dollar because the dollar is worth more, essentially. However, when I pulled it up and I saw it was at 98.35, I said, that's pretty much what we were at yesterday. It really didn't go up that much. And yet we're seeing this huge beatdown in pretty much everything right now. It could also be that the economy is slipping and more people are starting to catch on. Someone had told me that Trump had put something out he feels really bad, that people are starting to talk negative about him. Here's the thing. Yeah, he might have said that he was going to end the problems in Europe right off when he first got elected. He might have said he was going to bring down prices. But at the end of the day, I think a lot of these people, whether you're a Republican, Democrat, you promise things that you can't always deliver. And unfortunately, I mean, ultimately, I think a lot of the stuff going on in Europe is going to fall to Putin and what he decides and what he's willing to accept. But a lot of that, in my opinion, was, he didn't want Ukraine part of the United Nations. He didn't want them a part of it. And I think it's not going to take a huge, but he's not going to come out of it broke either. He's got the upper hand right now, apparently. And I think the U.S. is just tired of footing the bill for it. And so that's why I think it's kind of going to put an end to this pretty soon. And he actually gave a speech. I don't know if you guys ever watch foreign speeches. I actually enjoy watching speeches, especially Putin's speech. But he had given a speech about a year ago. I don't know how many of y'all remember it or have seen it. And I talked about it when it first happened. And he had said, as soon as the U.S. can't afford to pay for this, this will come to an end. Right now, the only reason this is still going on is because the U.S. is sending huge amounts of money. And it's kind of true. I believe that's true. I think when the U.S. stops paying, that's it. We're going to see some stuff start happening in the near future, I believe, that's going to really put some, I'll say, excitement behind gold and silver. We're going to see some big moves, I think. Right now, this recent dip is nothing, in my opinion. I think it's just another buying opportunity. I had someone ask me yesterday in a comment what I like better right now with a gold silver ratio, something like 90 to 1 roughly. Do I prefer gold or silver? I still like silver, even though I have a bad habit of still picking up gold. Why? Because I've got a little bit of silver and I've got a little bit of gold, but lately I've been, even though I think silver is the better option, it's hard to turn down a beautiful gold coin. When you see a good deal on one, it's hard to turn it down. So with that being said, let's jump in and let's start talking about the whole trading silver or gold for stuff that you need. I've talked about this time and time again. Now, I will say right off the bat, when you first offer a trade to someone, it sometimes gets laughed at a little bit. Some people laugh at it. Some people think you're cheap and don't want to spend money because they view paper money, fiat dollars, as real money. I actually had one friend of mine who I trade with a fair amount. He asked me, he said, why do you trade? Why do you want to give up? If you truly, truly believe that gold and silver is money, wouldn't you be better off just giving out your paper? Get rid of the paper and essentially just buy the item that you want instead of giving up something physical like gold and silver. Now, there's a couple reasons how I answered this, and I talked to him about this, and I said, well, the first thing is, how did you find out about it? How did you find out about gold and silver? And this gentleman is a stacker now. He believes in it. He picks up some every week. I said, how did you first find out about it? He goes, well, you know that, you. I said, exactly. I said, I came into your place, and I wanted something from you, and I offered you some silver coins for it. Excuse me. And you liked the coins. You liked them, one, because you recognized they were old coins. They were Mercury dimes, a handful kind of Mercury dimes. I said, at the time of taking those Mercury dimes, a Mercury dime was only $1.50. I said, so for me, it cost me $1.50 a dime. I wish I could pause when I'm making these videos. I don't have the ability to pause. So I apologize for the coughing fit. Usually I have my water. I didn't take a water tonight and put it here because I didn't expect a long video, but I already know it's going to go a little longer. So I said, you wouldn't have any silver if it wasn't for me making that trade with you, right? He said, no, I never would have learned about it. I said, exactly. So by you doing it, me working that trade with you, I brought someone else into it. Now you're a stacker. Now you're on team metals. You have a business and you accept paper from people, but you take some of that paper every month and you convert it into precious metals, which definitely puts upward pressure. If everybody in the world was buying precious metals a little bit, then it would be putting upward pressure on it. Now, I got to jump topics just for a quick second. I actually had someone leave me a comment a day or two ago, and it said, we can't all be winners. We need losers to be winners, to have winners. And he's exactly right. But the truth of the matter is, not everybody is going to start buying precious metals. It's a slow process. Those of us that started early, we're going to be the legends when metals really do what it's going to do. You're going to be the Hall of Fame, the legends that essentially people talk about. I know a guy that he started stacking in, 2010, 2015, and he's been stacking ever since. He built up a huge amount of precious metals. I mean, it's crazy. Yeah, I know a guy that he talks about it on YouTube all the time. I'll bet you he's been stacking for a while too. I mean, we're going to be the people that people talk about, tell stories about. How did you make your fortune? Oh, I was just talking about metals, and I picked up, oh, my word, you were picking metals up when it was next to nothing. Yeah, I remember when it was under $20. No way. I mean, I hear people on the channel that leave me comments. I bought some metals when it was $4, $5. Had a comment come in the other day. Someone picked up an ounce of silver for $5.50. Put it in an envelope, just put it away. Look at that, $5.50. Instead, if he had bought a bunch of them, think about where he'd be today. Yeah, he'd be practically a legend if he had put all of his money in it. And I hear it all the time. I wished I had. The truth of the matter is there's never a better time to buy precious metals, in my opinion, than today. Because tomorrow it will always be a little higher. Now, someone's going to make the argument, look at the price. If you had bought yesterday, it's only $37.13 today. Okay, so you can have pullbacks. But in 6 months from now, where is it going to be? In a year from now, where is it going to be? In 2 years from now, where is it going to be? Generally, it's always going to be higher. We've seen it time and time again. We see precious metals keep going up. Not just silver, but silver and gold, copper, nickel, everything. Everything is going up in price. We live in a world where prices are going to keep going up because the fiat currency continues to come down. So jumping back on the primary topic, trading gets more people into it. More people get into it, it builds more of a foundation. And I'll be honest, every once in a while, someone, I won't say tricks me up, but gets me to lean a certain way. I actually was talking to one guy. He sold me 5 ounces, beautiful San Antonio Alamo ounces. I loved them. He said, I'll give you 5 for $200 if you want them. I said, okay, I'll take them. Silver at the time was 38. I said, I'll take them. I took them, and I said, ooh, dude, be careful touching them. He said, why? And I said, because people just like them. They're worth more if they're untouched. And he's like, why's that? You mean uncirculated? And I said, yeah, people. I didn't know how much the kid knew because he played it off like he wasn't a big stacker. He was just, he bought a couple and that's it. That's how he worded it to me. I don't know how serious the kid was about him, but he told me, he goes uncirculated, but don't we want them to circulate? I said, huh? And I questioned it. I paused for a minute because I was a little shocked. He said, well, the more people circulate them, the more we can go back to sound money. And that's ultimately what we want, right? And I was like, kind of dumbfounded for a minute. I was like, well, yeah, actually, we do want that. He said, so should it matter if we handle them? I said, yes and no, I guess. I said, I would love to see them circulate, but on the flip side, I would rather have them in really nice condition. He said, I understand, because people like nice condition. But ultimately, we want to get the word out. This kid goes into stores, and I say kid. I call everybody younger than me a kid. I apologize. But this person goes into stores, and he will always have some on him, I guess. He asked a buddy of mine. He said, would you accept silver for my stuff? He said, what do you mean? And that's what the store clerk said. He knew what silver was, but he didn't understand what he was being asked because it's not a common thing. He said, can I give you an ounce of silver and you just give me the difference in money, in paper money? He said, because he's like, I don't have any silver to give you as change. He goes, I'll take the difference in cash. And so he's like, well, he said no, but then I was right there. And I said, I'll tell you what, I'll pay for your order and I'll give you the difference. He said, I go, what's the spot price? This was the very first ounce that I got from him. He goes, spot price right now is 38. I said, how much is your order? Like $28. I said, I'll tell you what, I'll pay for your order and I'll give you 10 extra. He said, okay. And then I asked him if he had any more he wanted to get rid of, since, a lot of stores don't want to accept that because they don't know or they're not the owner. Owners can do this. Store clerks technically aren't supposed to, but I'm sure there are some store clerks that will. Oh, yeah, just take it. I'll take the ounce of silver. They're probably not going to pass it up to Whataburger or Stripes. They're going to put it in their pocket and write off the order. That's a possibility. But who knows what people do. Maybe they'll pay for the order and they'll use their discount, maybe employee discount or whatever. I don't know what people always do, but needless to say, trading, it gives you an edge. And the reason it gives you an edge is you're probably not going to be able to get the product cheaper than they can. If they own the store, they're getting the product a whole lot cheaper than you. I'll give you a couple scenarios. Let's just say you go to Subway and you're standing in front of somebody, we'll say the owner of the store, even though, let's be honest, it's probably unlikely you're going to bump into the owner of Subway at Subway. But your sandwiches come out to, let's just say we'll say for fun, $40. Maybe you got 5 or 6 sandwiches, $40. Hey, can I give you an ounce of silver for it? Oh, what is that? Let me see. He might say no, but he could say yes. If he says yes, can you pick up an ounce of silver for $40? Yeah, you could probably pick it up for $39 maybe if you just gave him a generic ounce. Or maybe you bought the ounce a while back and you've had it. And maybe you've been stacking for a while. You know that you're going to retire someday and you want to have your retirement in silver. Well, when you bought that ounce, maybe it was $20. And instead of you having to sell it, you can trade it. When that person starts talking to you, every time you come in, they'll probably talk to you from there on. Hey, you still got that ounce of silver? I do. Did you see the price of it? He goes, I've been watching videos online. It looks like silver could explode in price someday. What are you getting today? You getting anything? Do you bring any coins with you? Do you want to sell me a couple coins? I may not want to sell you a couple, but I'll tell you what I will do. I'm going to get some stuff. Maybe we can work out a trade. And I'll let you just, give me the difference in cash. Or we'll work out a trade and we'll just wash it out. If that person ever goes to get rid of that silver, who do you think they're going to talk to first? This has happened to me on numerous occasions where somebody starts stacking because I got them into it with a trade. Then they had the stuff. And then when they need money, who do they go to? They come back to you. Hey, I got a question for you. I ran into an emergency. I got to put some money together. Are you interested in buying some of this silver off me? How hard is it to sell if I go to sell it? It's not hard at all. Right now, spot price is $37. I'll tell you what. I'll give you $37.10. Or I'll tell you what. I'll give you $38.10 maybe, depending on what the price is. Right now, the price is $37.10. It's easy to sell. People want it. The idea of you can't get your money back out of silver, I always laugh at that because, if you go to a pawn shops have huge overhead. They want to make astronomical amounts of money. Not all pawn shops. There's actually one pawn shop owner that watches my channel. He watched it on a regular basis. It's not even a pawn shop I've ever been to. He just heard about it from another fan. He told the guy started watching my channel, and boom, that's how it took off. And he told me one day, I own a pawn shop. There's a lot of high overhead, and I understand that. So not all pawn shops are crooks. I got to say that. But some pawn shops are crooks. They're out to make as much money as they can. And if they can get your ounce of silver for $10, they will. And if you think that's not possible, I've seen pawn shops offer that. I took a $200 certified San Francisco limited edition Silver Eagle into a pawn shop. We're talking certified. The guy said, I can give you $25 for it. I said, what? I said, silver's going for $40 alone. I said, and on top of that, this is extremely limited edition. I had no intention on selling it. It was more of just an experiment because someone challenged me to an experiment and I wanted to try it. So once you realize this, there's a lot of advantages to trading. One, you're promoting silver to more people. Two, you could get a little bit more for your money. Three, when they go to get rid of their silver, they're going to talk to you again. The biggest one is I usually get a little bit more for my money. Why? Because their cost is not your cost. That's the easiest way to say it. I needed to buy a tire one day. This was back when silver was only $25. I needed a tire, a used tire. Nothing fancy. I just wanted a tire that fit on my vehicle. It didn't have to match. I didn't care. I had a flat. I needed something. Guy said, I'll tell you what, I got a nice used one for $50 if you want. I'll put it on, I'll rotate it, I'll whatever, balance it, whatever they do, $50. And I said, oh, wow, that's cool. That's a good deal. I said, how about this? I said, check out this. This is an American Silver Eagle. It's pure silver. It's 9999 silver, 3 nines. I said, you've probably seen them before. This will probably go up in value down the road, most likely. Guy looked at it, handed it to his secretary, and said, hey, look online what one of these go for. She looked. She said, maybe, $40. And he goes, well, he said, yeah, I'll do that. And he took it. I didn't have to spend $50. I gave up a $25 Silver Eagle. And so for me, it benefited me. I got more for it. Now, he saved it. When I saw him again and asked him about it years later, he said, I still just have it sitting in the drawer, my desk drawer. I mean, it'll sit there probably until he passes away. But here's the thing. It's going up in value. Can't say that for the $50. $50 would have just been spent. So once you realize these little things, it's incentive to trade. Do you have to step out of your comfort zone? Of course you do. Anything you do for the first time, you're going to step out of your comfort zone. You go bowling and you've never bowled in your life. You're stepping out of your comfort zone. You're going to go there and probably maybe make a fool out of yourself. You don't know how to bowl. Get a few gutter balls right off the bat until someone shows you how to line up and use the arrows and stuff like that, how to curve the ball a little bit. But once you understand that stuff, boom, it gets more comfortable. It's the same way with trading silver with people. Now, here's the thing. What's going to happen when the system collapses? So we know people will take it today. But when the system collapses, what's going to happen? Will someone want some shiny piece of metal versus maybe some rice? It depends. Depends how much rice they have on hand. I can tell you I have a lot of rice on hand. Rice is super cheap. It's long-term preservable. I can put rice in a Mylar bag, some oxygen absorbers inside of a 5-gallon bucket, and I'm out $20. $20. I mean, I might throw that away on a lottery ticket. But instead, I'm putting that away. It's going to keep for 25 years. And if someone comes up to me when everything is going to heck and you can't find rice or you can't find food at the grocery stores or whatever the case, if it gets that bad. Some people don't even believe it could even get that bad. But let's just say it does get that bad. Some people just believe that, hey, it doesn't matter if nothing happens. If nothing happens, the price of silver and gold will keep going higher, which means I want some. But let's say you can't get food. Someone out there is going to have extra stuff. Maybe you just got a deer. You just bagged a deer. What are you going to do with a whole deer? You got, a couple 100 pounds of meat maybe. I don't know how many pounds of meat you get from a deer, or a moose or an elk or whatever, or some shrimp from a shrimp boat or whatever the case may be. You can't keep it all. You can't. I mean, why not take something that's going to go up in value for it? Now, I understand there might be other preferences. Maybe you'd like, a case of cigarettes or a case of rum or something, scotch, whatever. Maybe you want something else. But you know what? You'll take something that people will want. A time will come when silver and gold will be extremely high, in my opinion. Maybe there'll be a time where, when there's no food at the grocery stores and everybody is starving, maybe there'll be a small window there where nobody will want it, or not many people will want it. But here's the thing. If you've got too much of something, it's easy to diversify into something else. If you've got a ton of rice, what do you do with it all? I mean, you can give some away. Family members, you can use some, but you can trade some too. they'll have something you need. And if they have something, they have other things that you don't need. Maybe they'll have some jewelry, some broken gold jewelry, some broken silver jewelry. Way back in the day, think about, we'll say Vikings even. Think about Vikings. I've been watching the new series Viking Valhalla. I think it's pronounced. I don't know how it's pronounced, but it's season 3. It's like a sequel to the original Viking story. Think about the Vikings. They had to grow their own food. Food was hard to come by. They could have a hard winter. They raised their own chickens. They had their own goats, sheep. They grew their own food. Why did they, when they went in, why did they take people's gold and silver if it had no value? Because it did have value. It had value because somebody, somewhere, would accept it. They wanted it. They knew certain trading areas wanted gold and silver. Gold and silver generally trickle up to the few. Somebody out there will be bringing in, if all of a sudden food was scarce, someone out there will be bringing in truckloads of rice. And they will say, I'm only accepting silver and gold. Boom. They just created a demand for it. They're going to take that silver and gold and they're going to take it somewhere else and they're going to get more rice, more whatever it is that they can trade for it. They understand it's a savings account. It's true money. And here's the thing. If you believe that the system can collapse, well, what do you think is going to happen to the power grid? What do you think is going to happen to cryptocurrencies? What do you think is going to happen to paper money? Can't eat that. You can't eat paper money. You can't eat Bitcoin. But yet they want to make the same argument, oh, you can't eat silver and gold. I'll be honest. Maybe people will want your Bitcoin. Maybe people will want your fiat dollars. I just don't see it. Gold and silver is wanted everywhere in the world. And I know somebody out there is going to say, well, people want Bitcoin right now everywhere in the world. That's true. But will you have a power grid? There's a lot of factors. Gold and silver, he who has it makes the rules. Literally. It's not always the same with Bitcoin and cash. If you're in an area where they don't accept dollars, or something bad happens to America and people don't want the dollars, or the grid goes down in your area, yeah, you still have your Bitcoin, but what can you do with it? You can't give them your whole hard drive and your password, and there's no way for them to verify it right then and there. So even if you said, hey, there's a Bitcoin on this hard drive, here's the password, you can just take it back to where you came from and open it up, they're still putting faith in you. Are they going to trust you? There's a lot of what ifs that go into this. But I think it's important that people realize these so they can prepare for what could happen. Let's take a look how long we've been talking. It's easy to get going. Oh, my word, 33 minutes. Okay, I try not to get too long. I get carried away sometimes talking. So, but yeah, just think about these things. And, try today. If you have an opportunity today, put an ounce of silver in your pocket, maybe a couple silver quarters, a couple mercury dimes. Use things that people don't see. Don't bring someone a Washington quarter and expect that they're going to see value in it because it's silver. They're going to see a Washington quarter. It looks no different than the other quarter, except the rim is a different color. Maybe you spray paint it. People that don't know about silver are not going to know this. But I guarantee you, if you bring them Barbara quarter or a mercury dime, they're going to see value in it. There's one store that I go to. I'm going to wrap it up here in a minute. There's one store I go to every day and I buy a drink. Either I buy a Diet Coke, I buy a water, I might buy an energy drink, just different stuff. Usually the energy drinks, if I'm working with someone, and because I can't drink a whole one, it would probably kill me. But needless to say, I will trade him a Buffalo nickel. He likes Buffalo nickels. Why? Because he never sees them anymore. He likes them. I went in with a roll of them because I opened the roll up in a short video the other day. If you've seen my shorts, you've seen that I opened a roll of them up. And I offered to trade it with him, one of them. He said, I'll tell you what, I'll take the whole roll. You can take a whole case of water. I don't want a case of water. He said, why not? You want a water? You come get a water every day. I said, yeah, but the water is here. I'm not going to drive all the way home to get a cold water. I said, I'm just going to keep the roll of nickels in my truck, my vehicle, whatever vehicle I'm in. I'm going to keep some in there. And every time I come by, I'll offer you up one if I remember. And sure enough, that's what I've been doing. Now, a Buffalo nickel, what's a Buffalo nickel worth? That's an opinion. $1.50, maybe $2, who knows? Yeah, if it's a good year, I didn't cherry pick them or nothing. I just put them there. It's not a big deal. I got a deal on the roll of them, and that's it. In fact, it was one of the members of the channel that traded me it. So, and I think when I got it, I think I paid $20 for it, 50 cents a piece, and now I'm getting a free drink basically for 50 cents. So it paid off. With that being said, I'm going to wrap up here. I thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I really hope you clicked that thumbs up button and left me a comment, even if it's just a simple comment like good morning. It helps the algorithm. It can be anything. Great video, good morning, something short and sweet even. It helps the algorithm. If it's a little bit more lengthy, a couple sentences or a question, I usually try to answer it, but I might do a video on it. So I think it's important that I'm looking for good topics for videos. It's getting hard to come up with topics every single day, Monday through Friday. And soon it will cool off and I'll be back to doing it 7 days a week. And who knows, when I get my full new studio going, maybe I'll go back to 2 a days. There was a while that I was doing 2 a day on Monday through Friday, a live stream on the weekend, and 2 morning videos on the weekend. So who knows? We may get back to that because I'm trying to push the channel. But we'll see how it goes. Thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you all again tomorrow on T-Square Talk. Take care. I'm curious to see what silver and gold's going to do today, if we're going to see it pop back up with this recent dip or if we're going to see it go even lower. We'll see. Take care, everybody. Have a great one. Bye-bye.